You're looking at the wife of a police officer assaulting a man outside a Fall City bar. The attack caught on surveillance cameras. But this turned into so much more. That woman was arrested, and the officer found himself in hot water after he flashed his badge, lied during a traffic stop, and then tried to pull rank to get his wife released from jail.
And tonight, we're looking into an investigation that uncovered additional misdeeds by that police officer, including an on-the-clock sex toy prank.
Well, he was simply riding the subway when he was shot by police, and now that innocent bystander is suing the city for $80 million. In the claim, a lawyer for Gregory Delpeche accuses the officers of showing carelessness and recklessness, disregard for the lives of others. The 49-year-old suffered brain damage after being shot in the head last month. Officers opened fire on a suspected ferry vader who they say was holding a knife at the Sutter Avenue station in Brooklyn. 4 people were hurt, including one NYPD officer.
Justin PULLIAM has an investigative YouTube channel called Corruption Report. His page is described as confronting tyranny to protect our individual rights and improve the human condition. In July 2021, PULLIAM went to a public park to cover a statement from Fort Bend County Sheriff Eric Fagan after human remains were found there. That's when the sheriff approached PULLIAM and told him to leave.
So where should we park? On the road? On the market road?
Any place you can find a legal parking spot, that's where you can park there.
That is, Sheriff. That is.
Go ahead and start walking that direction.
After that interaction, Sheriff Fagan told a deputy to keep PULLIAM away from the scene and said to arrest him if he didn't comply.
You were not media, so at the sheriff's request, could you step back this way with us, please? You're more than happy to film from right here. If you just stay back here, that'd be great, okay, sir? All right? I appreciate you.
You're a joke. You're a joke, man. So I can be right here? Okay. You won't tell me. This is the game. It comes straight from the top, guys. Straight from the top.
The court found that PULLIAM's free speech rights were violated in the incident. PULLIAM provided this statement to Straight Arrow News. Quote, "This victory shows how important the First Amendment is to protect independent reporters like me who use social media to provide on-scene, often critical coverage of the police. Shooting the messenger is no longer an option when they don't like how they look online."
Good morning and welcome to the Bad Apple Report. It's 7:30 a.m. bright and early right here at home on the range. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. I really appreciate it. We're going to start our day out talking about some really important stuff, you guys. Annie, not now, please. Where are we at? We're in Mobile County. That's where we're at. And we're going to find out today why there's so many bad apples. It's because their bosses can't tell they're bad apples. We can because we're not bad apples. But their bosses are bad apples. Okay, let's get on with the show. Alrighty. Mobile police officer arrested, terminated for stealing packages like only a bad apple would do. Mobile, Alabama. A police officer was arrested and terminated Thursday after he was accused of stealing packages shipped and addressed to another individual at his apartment complex. According to Mobile Police Department news release, police officials learned Wednesday, October 2nd, just the other day, of an allegation made against a police officer at the Village at Midtown Apartments. Ooh, he's got him a nice apartment there. He's got him a jail cell now. The allegation was that the officer and his wife had opened packages. She's going to have a jail cell too. That had been shipped and addressed to another individual at their apartment complex. That's illegal. Mobile police began investigating and ultimately terminated 23-year-old Patrick Dwayne Dees from the police department. He was later arrested and taken to Mobile Metro Jail. Dees is charged with fourth-degree theft of property. He's scheduled for a bond hearing on October 4th. That's great. That was yesterday, you guys. That's so funny. He's probably out right now. Hey, buddy. Dees' wife, Nadia McMillan, will also have a warrant issued for her arrest, according to the MPD spokesperson. Oh, no. Oh, yes. Okay, Dees graduated from the Mobile Police Academy in July. Oh, he's a noob. He's scheduled for a bond hearing on October 4th. Dees' next court date is scheduled for November 13th. Couldn't tell he was a bad apple going through the, police academy and stuff? No. They raise them up to be bad apples. It's a developing story. Updates will be that goofball, well, who knows what's going to happen. But I don't think he's going to be a police officer anymore, okay? On with the show. You know what? I like these bad apples a lot. They make me happy. They do. So I'm going to be nice to this goofy-looking thumb with a beard. Detention officer at Oklahoma County Detention Center has been arrested for embezzlement. Oh, all right. A detention officer at the Oklahoma Detention Center has been arrested for embezzlement. Again, according to the Oklahoma County Detention Center Sergeant Staff, Hewitt Sharp, age 38, not so sharp there, Hewitt, was taken into custody following allegations of stealing $549 from a resident who was booked into the jail in September. Oh, sticky fingers. Officials said the investigation did not start until the resident was released and money could not be found. What did you think? You had a life sentence there, buddy? Big dummy. Big dummy. On Thursday afternoon, Sharp, who's not so sharp, was booked into the Oklahoma County Detention Center. Aw. While the investigation is ongoing, according to the investigator's probable cause affidavit, Sharp also confessed to taking the money from several different residents' property over the last several months, totaling Oh, man. That had just become his thing. They were probably wondering who did it. It's the thumb with a beard. We are deeply disappointed by the actions of this individual as they do not reflect the Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Officials said Sharp was fired. Oh. He started working for the jail in 2014. Oh, Sharp, you big dummy. You had a 10-year career going on. Look at that look. That's fantastic, you guys. Okay. We're having a good day today. On with the show.
I've never seen anything like this ever, actually.
Like most dive bars, the Last Frontier Saloon could tell some stories. Andrew Goodman, a regular, can attest.
It went 0 to 60 in like 5 seconds.
There are few like what was captured on surveillance video last October. This is Goodman being kicked by Jennifer Rogenkamp. The guy next to her is her husband, Mercer Island Police Sergeant Todd Rogenkamp. And if the tuxedo T didn't tip you off, he's not on official duty. He left a wedding and hit this Fall City bar with friends. But when last call came and went, and when the doors closed, the Rogenkamps found themselves on the rocks with employees outside. Turns out, Mrs. Rogenkamp had left her phone inside, so Mr. Rogenkamp demanded that they open back up.
This badge says I can get in the building. This is verbatim what he said.
That moment appears here on video. The flashing of his badge, just the beginning of his problems. Shortly after that, a kick, an attempted slap, a fall, and yet another kick came from Mrs. Rogenkamp.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
Leading Goodman to call the cops on a cop.
Challenged my friend and I to fight because he knew the rule of mutual combat in the state of Washington, which we both declined.
To say awkward would be an understatement.
Justin McMartin is Goodman's friend. He saw the whole ordeal go down.
I don't know how else to describe it. It was just weird.
During that call, Rogenkamp jumped in the back seat of a truck and drove off with another couple. But King County deputies caught up and pulled them over on eastbound I-90. But things only escalated. Deputies say Todd was egging on his friend who was driving the vehicle to take off because of the police pursuit laws. They also say he lied about seeing the assault, calling the deputy a amateur. When asked about flashing his badge, he claimed to be a firefighter, which he isn't. The deputy wrote the Rogan camps were, quote, clearly inebriated, as displayed by their thick, slurred speech, heavy eyelids, and uncoordinated movements. Deputies booked Mrs. Rogenkamp in the King County Jail in Seattle on an assault charge. Mr. Rogenkamp's boss at the time, Mercer Island Police Chief Ed Holmes, would later write that he was concerned that Rogenkamp drove himself to the jail within 1 hour of being observed by King County deputies as very intoxicated. According to King County jail staff, at roughly 3 a.m., Rogenkamp demanded his wife be released from the facility. But when staff told him he'd have to wait until 7 a.m. to post his wife's bail, he threatened to block the Sally Port, the controlled entry point. Jail staff documented him saying, quote, I'm going to sit here and block all the cops coming in. Ultimately, he decided not to block the entrance. And after Mrs. Rogenkamp was bonded out of jail, prosecutors never charged her with a crime. But all of it, the jail, the combative traffic stop, not to mention him flashing his badge, it added up to 9 ethical rules breached, per the Mercer Island internal investigation. Now investigators from Washington's Criminal Justice Training Commission are working to determine whether they'll decertify Rogenkamp, meaning that badge he was flashing would be taken away.
I don't want to speculate like what kind of officer he would be on duty, but if this is off-duty behavior, it makes other officers look bad. It's a badge, not a crown.
The investigation also uncovered text messages and pictures of a phallic sex toy. Turns out, while on the clock as the watch commander, he attached a sex toy to his subordinate officer's cruiser just 7 days prior to the incident in Falls City. An investigator writing, you then let him drive around the community performing patrol duties in said vehicle for several hours without him knowing the sex toy was attached. Termination was recommended, but per records obtained by Fox 13, Rogenkamp's union argued and succeeded for a lesser punishment, a demotion. As a result of all this, Sergeant Rogenkamp would eventually become Officer Rogenkamp. Now, our team reached out to the Rogenkamp family multiple times via text and phone call through the number that they listed on her bail documents. We've yet to hear back. The union has also not responded, but the current police chief of Mercer Island tells us in part, quote,
okay, we're banging through the headlines like you know we got to do. Look at this meathead cop. I wonder what he's up to. Okay. Natchitoches Parish Sheriff. Well, let's see what's going on here. Oh, a Natchitoches officer has been arrested for allegedly selling narcotics. Alrighty, a Natchitoches police officer has been arrested following a 2-month-long investigation into illegal distribution of anabolic steroids on Wednesday. Oh, I bet he's got tattoos all up and down his arm. He does. Rawr. Okay, and a black ring with a blue line flag on his car. And I bet he does. And on Wednesday, he was arrested. All right, an Natchitoches police officer has been arrested following a 2-month-long blah, 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 anabolic steroids on Wednesday, and that's what Sheriff Stuart Wright has said. They posted on social media that they received a tip from an officer allegedly selling Schedule III narcotics. Ooh, Schedule III narcotic drugs, such as ketamine, anabolic steroids, and some acetaminophen, whatever, codeine combination are considered controlled substance, all right? Okay, little peanuts. We're going to call him Peanuts. The sheriff's office stated the investigation ultimately led to sufficient evidence and probable cause to obtain criminal arrest warrants signed by the 10th Judicial Judge. Okay, Jonas Peanuts McFerrin. Little Peanuts. Peanuts looks mad. They shared that the 36-year-old was a former resident of Natchitoches but resided in Rapids Parish now. Ooh. Fantastic. Anabolic steroids, Schedule III controlled dangerous substance, mostly used to increase lean muscle mass and make your little peanuts like little peanuts. Enhanced athletic performance and improved physical appearance with when using them. Ooh, check him out. You can go get a tattoo, too. Okay. blah, blah, blah. McFerrin was booked into the Nacogdoches Parish Detention Center and charged with 2 counts of distribution of CDS-3. Whoa. All of his buddies were like, man, we want to look like you, Peanuts. Okay, malfeasance in office. Not good, Peanuts. The NPSO states that if you see suspicious of criminal activity. Oh, so now every time you see a cop, folks, with a bunch of death cult tattoos and a black ring, and he looks like Peanuts, he looks like he's been working out 14 hours a day, but he works 14 hours a day. Well, how did you get so buffed up there, Peanuts? Anyways, that's me. All right, let's move on with the show. Okay, we're rolling. Rolling. There's a bad apple right here, folks. Detention officer fired after arrest in drug smuggling investigation. Man, how are all those drugs getting into the jail? Well, let's just take a looky here and see. Okay, a detention officer has been fired in the Eastern Carolina County after his arrest for smuggling drugs into the jail. Okay, Craven County deputies, that's what it says, you guys. I'm not just reading it wrong. Ron Burgundy here. And the SBI started their investigation on Saturday into smuggling and distributing contraband in the county jail. Well, they started that investigation on Saturday. They knew right where to go. Some damn good investigatory chops there, buddy. Kristen Kuntz has been charged with possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver Schedule II controlled substance. Possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver Schedule III controlled substance. Possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver Schedule VI controlled substance. I don't know what any of that stuff is. Okay, and all that other stuff. Oh my goodness, that's just Roman numeral after Roman numeral. This guy is in such deep trouble. All right? And he resisting a public officer, willfully failing to discharge duties, well, duh, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Whoa! Deputies say inside the detention officer's vehicle they found 2 white envelopes that had tobacco, marijuana, Suboxone, and opioid pills inside. Jeez, buddy. Okay, the sheriff's office says the 24-year-old Kuntz has been a detention officer since late 2022. He's had about 3 years, couple years to get his thing on. He was jailed on a $50,000 secure bond. Okay. Well, we're just going to screenshot that guy. Yep, that's what we did. And we're putting Kuntz on the cover because he's a bad apple. All right, on with the show. We were enjoying our bad apple report, and then there's this guy to come along and try to ruin our day. We're not going to let it happen. We will read about him as fast as we can. But take a look at this idiot. That's old Nick Locicero. Look at that look. He's a thumb with a beard. All right. EBRSO deputy arrested for first-degree grape and other charges. Oh. An East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office deputy was arrested on Wednesday, October 2nd, on grape-related charges, according to officials. Authorities said Nicholas Locicero, age 38, was arrested by the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office on 2 counts of first-degree grape, once again, and 1 count of misdemeanor sexual battery. Locicero, he started his career in East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office, where he learned how to be this kind of guy. Now, he was probably born that way. He then went to work for the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office, but was terminated for conduct unbecoming. Oh, well. Livingston Parish Sheriff Jason Ard said Wednesday evening, after being terminated from Livingston Parish, he was rehired by the EBR Sheriff's Office. Well, they love conduct unbecoming there at the EBR Sheriff's Office. They do. He was placed on administrative leave after EBRSO was notified of allegations today. Lo Cicero was terminated this evening prior to his arrest. Ooh. Okay, let's listen to what this idiot sheriff has to say. Okay. Let me start by saying this is an ongoing investigation that involves juveniles. Oh, so I can only release limited information at this time. Diddler. What I can tell you is that during our investigation, detectives obtained forensic interviews from the juvenile victim, who named Nicholas Lo Cicero as the violator. Copperoonie, sheriff, deputy, thumb with a beard. Search warrants and arrest warrants were executed. At this time, our LPSOSVU detectives are also working to provide support for the victims in this case. Well, that's just fantastic. Look at this guy. Oh, the look of a deputy who's been busted is just priceless. All right. Take it in and on with the show.
He said as the prosecutor started getting into a closing argument, he seemed to zone out. His pupils were dilated, he was shaking, and it appeared that he was losing control of his functions. And it seemed legitimate to me. I was about 10 feet away and I was able to see what was going on.
You and I were both right there. Have you ever seen anything like this play out before?
This happens occasionally in cases. We've had cases in my experience where people are faking it, looking for sympathy. We've had cases where family members have fallen out in the middle of closing arguments of the trial. But to me, this appeared to be some type of legitimate medical emergency that he was going through.
Do you see this because of the fact that in other cases, this is the weight of the reality now beginning to set upon them?
That could be one thing. The prosecutor was gaining steam. She was being very aggressive. She was calling him out, and maybe the enormity of everything is setting in. He's facing life in prison. He's having a very aggressive prosecutor say things about him. So it could have been that. It could have been a multitude of things.
Folks, I really can't thank you enough. So I'll thank you again for enduring this many bad apples every single day of the week. That's right, 7 days a week. There's this many bad apples. It's shocking.
New at 10, a Harris County detention officer spent most of the day in jail after his arrest on a sexual assault charge. ABC 13's Jessica Willie is live downtown in Jessica. We've learned his accuser is a co-worker.
Yeah, Eric, according to court records, the victim says that she was attacked by a fellow detention officer here at the Harris County Jail Complex. She reported this alleged incident in August. On Monday, Jaleel Williams was charged, and late last night he was taken into custody while here at work. Williams, a 26-year-old detention officer, was arrested around 10 o'clock last night at the jail at 701 San Jacinto. Deputies taking him right across the street to process him into the jail as an inmate. According to court records, the alleged sexual assault happened after 56 new detention officers were sworn in late July. A group of them went out afterwards to celebrate, coordinated by a sergeant. The 36-year-old victim told investigators she consumed alcohol, so Williams drove her home, where she says he sexually assaulted her. He has been charged with felony sexual assault. Bond was set at $50,000. He posted that bond this evening and was released.
And he might be watching the Bad Apple Report this morning. So everybody say howdy. Okay, Jaleel. All right, you made it on the Bad Apple Report, you knucklehead. And that's about all we can handle today for the Bad Apple Report. But you know me, I'll have another batch of bad apples just for ye tomorrow. All right, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. bright and early.